in a minute. I have here on my stove a pot of about 6 to 8 cups of just canned or boxed chicken broth. If you have homemade, even better, but I don't. Let me get not prepared here. Let me grab my spoon. I have here just 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I cut into just small cubes, just bite-sized pieces. And I'm going to let that just bring it up to a simmer. I have here just a couple of fresh carrots that I'm going to add to it because I think chicken soup needs carrots. So I'm going to just dice these into little pieces. This is one of those things that, you know, maybe you're not feeling well and you want soup, or you just want soup. I'm a person who eats soups year-round. It does not have to be cold, and I do not have to be sick to want soup. I just am a soup person. So I make them all the time. If you don't have any fresh carrots, you can use frozen, like the peas and carrots. Although I don't normally put peas in this particular soup, it's fine if you want to. It's good either way. So I like to cut the big ones in half and then just cut them into, you know, little half-moon bite-sized pieces. There are 1,001 different ways to make chicken soup. This is a noodle one. This is using egg noodles, which I love. If you have homemade Amish-style egg noodles, ooh, that's even better. But we don't have those today. We're just going to use boxed noodles. I've got a couple of stalks of celery that I've cleaned, and I'm just going to cut them into thinner strips. And I'm going to do the same thing. I like to cut them in half and make them a little bit easier, manageable, I should say. I like to work, as you know, off of a big cutting board. The one that I had for years on this program, I still have. I love that thing. But we did get another one. I like it. A little wider. But I have to have a cutting board. If you don't have a cutting board, I strongly advise you to get a cutting board. But don't get a glass board. That ruins your knives. It dulls your knives. And I keep the little plastic ones that I can just pop into the dishwasher for meats. Now, my wooden one, obviously, I don't. We just clean them, and, you know, ever so often I will use a food-grade oil to keep the wood lubricated. I've got 1 onion here that I'm going to just mince into small pieces. This is a kind of a big onion. That's okay. It adds a lot of flavor. That little piece escaped. It's all right. Tuck those fingers back. And I like to go ahead and drop it into the pot as I'm cooking. And you know, I have to spill. I like to work chopping-wise by my stove so that we can just drop it in there as we get it diced. Just makes it a little easier, and you risk, you know, if you're trying to carry it, you're risking dropping your ingredients. So it's just easier to do it by the stove. Whew, that onion's gonna make me cry. I have yet. I've tried all those little tricks. Burning a match, freezing the onion, different things that, you know, they say to try. None of it works. I have yet to find something that works. The only thing that I've ever found, years ago I used to wear contacts, and I never ever cried when I had my contacts on. So that tells me it's got something to do with that middle part of your eye. Now I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. And we are going to just let that simmer until the chicken cooks through and the vegetables are softened. We're gonna add some fresh dill and a little bit of fresh parsley because I have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop that up, mince it, set it to the side. While I'm chopping, might as well. I'll chop it up. I like fresh parsley. If you don't have any fresh parsley, just leave it out. You can use the dried parsley, but I just find it just doesn't have that flavor. Yes, parsley is a garnish, but it also has a great flavor to it. I find my eyes are watering. The Italian parsley, to me, tastes better. This is fresh dill. You want about a tablespoon or so. This adds just a wonderful flavor. Oh, I love dill. I love dill in a lot of stuff. I just love the flavor of fresh dill. All right. I'm going to take a quick break, clean up my board. When I come back, we're going to get started on our pudding and get that together so it can go into the fridge while we finish up our soup and make our salad. I'll be back in just a minute. All righty, now our soup is just simmering, coming up to a simmer. So let me turn that down just a little bit. I don't want it to boil over. Just want it to kind of come up to a simmer. Ooh, looking good, smelling even better. Just kind of let that do its thing. And we're going to make a drumstick pudding. This is delicious, and this is one of those recipes that would be really, really good to make with your kids. Now, I'm going to actually spray the bottom just lightly with a non-stick spray. And I have here just some graham crackers. You want to make about a cup and a half or so. Just put them in a Ziploc bag. Beat them with a rolling pin or a meat mallet or whatever you have. A hammer would work. You want them to be kind of fine. And I've poked a hole in mine. So let's move it away from that. You can also do this. Got to get away from that hole. You like the drumstick ice cream. If you like those ice creams, and I do, then you're going to love this. I'm going to just, instead of dirtying another bowl, I'm just going to actually put those down in the bottom of my pan and mix it up right there. Because why dirty another bowl? All right? If you got any bigger ones, just bunch them up with your hand. I've got about 1/4 cup of melted butter and a little bit of sugar. And I'm going to stir that together and then just pat it out into the bottom of the pan. This is your base. You don't need to cook it. You don't need to bake it. You don't need to do anything other than mix it together. And then just take your hand and press it down in the bottom. Okay? So good. Set that to the side. And we're going to make the next layer, which is cream cheese that needs to be at room temperature. And mine is not really good in that room temperature, but we'll do the best we can. We're going to add some powdered sugar, about a cup, to 2 sticks of cream cheese. I'm going to get that a little bit mixed up first. If you have a stand mixer, you can do this in a stand mixer. This is a lot better if your cream cheese is softer than mine. It's going to take me a longer time to get mine all stirred together. I just want to kind of work in a little bit of that cream cheese. Then we're going to add in 1 8-ounce container, or you can even use 16 ounces if you want to, of just the frozen Cool Whip type topping. I bought the extra creamy because that was on sale for some reason, and the regular was not. So I got the extra creamy and some peanut butter. About half a cup or so of peanut butter. You can use smooth or crunchy. I have smooth today. Either one will work. And you want to get this all mixed together. And it'll loosen up once we get that Cool Whip kind of started incorporating. I've got it on low right now, but I'm getting ready to turn it up. Oh, now it's loosening up some. You want it good and creamy. That's what you're going for. If you wanted to add a little vanilla, you could. If you want to add more peanut butter, you can. I just want to get that cream cheese all worked in. Just for about 30 seconds more. I could just eat this. That actually makes a very good dip for graham crackers or celery sticks. It really does. It makes it, oh, I don't need to do, well, actually, I'm going to need this again. So I'm not going to, I don't have a second set of beaters. So we're just going to use the same one. It's okay. Make sure it's unplugged. Don't do what I just did. Clean up my hands. Now, you want to take your pudding, your base, and you're going to have to be careful. You got to use your hands here. I'm going to put little dollops of this all over the base. You could make little individual ones if you wanted to. That'd be good too. Oh, this is so good. I love this mixture. And then, once you get it kind of gently, spread it around, because you don't want to mix it, excuse me, necessarily into those crumbs. It's going to mix a little bit, and that's okay, but you want this to be a distinct layer. And this is much easier if you have an offset spatula, which I do, but right at the moment I don't have it in my hand. So we will just make do. It's all right. See, got a little mix right there. It's okay. We're going to top it with something else anyway. All right, now, the next step of this is mix up, let me get rid of that, some pudding. I'm just going to use the same beaters. I have one package of chocolate pudding and one package of vanilla pudding. Mix them just per your box directions. I'm going to do the vanilla first because I'm going to use the same beaters because I don't want to wash them in between. It's all going to the same place, your belly. Just kind of stir that up for a minute or so. Let it sit and move on to the chocolate. Now these take a minute or so to set up. You know how you do when you do the instant chocolate. We want to let them set up. I just like to stir them up. You don't have to have a mixer for this. You can use a spoon or a whisk. But while I've got my beaters out, why not? Okay, now, I need to make a decision here. Do we want our white on top or our chocolate on top. You can do it whichever way you want it. I am going to kind of let that set for just a second. Now, if you wanted to, you could stir in some coconut to that. That would be delicious. Yum, yum. Matter of fact, think I'll top it with some coconut. You don't have to. I'm going to let that firm up just a minute, check my soup, clean up my mess, and when I come back, we'll finish the pudding, pop it in the refrigerator, finish up the soup, and make a wonderful salad. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, all I did was put my chocolate pudding down and then my vanilla pudding over. I'm actually going to top mine with a few little mini chocolate chips. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I want to. So there you go. Drumstick pudding. Now this needs to go in the refrigerator until you're ready to serve it. So let's put it right there. And we are going to make an easy, quick, found my offset spatula, layered salad to go alongside our soup because, you know, soup and salad or soup and sandwiches are just perfect. They're just perfect with each other, soup and salad. So that's what we're going to do. Before we get started on that, our soup is simmering away. So I'm going to add 1 cup of just frozen corn, some parsley and dill that we chopped up earlier, and then 1 cup of, I'm just using medium egg noodles. These are just the dried egg noodles that you find in the pasta aisle. And I'm going to add 1 cup. Now, here's a little hint for you. If you were going to not eat all this at once, I would not cook the noodles in it, but it's going to be gone. I would cook the noodles separately because if you're going to try to store it, the egg noodles will soak up all your broth. So we're just going to kind of let that go for a few minutes. And we're going to make a salad. Now we're going to make a very popular salad. I'm actually going to do mine in my pretty little trifle bowl because I think it's pretty, but you don't have to. I have 1 head of romaine lettuce that I've washed, and I'm going to chop it up. If you want to use iceberg, you can, or really any kind of lettuce that you have or you like is fine. I just really like the crunch of romaine the best. And it honestly has more nutritional value than iceberg. So, in the bottom first layer is going to be our lettuce, which of course is the basis for our salad, or most salads. Now, I have little cherry tomatoes here that I've washed. If you have a good tomato that you want to chop, go right ahead. And I like to kind of put, you got to think about it visually. So I have red tomatoes. Then I have here 1 cup of just frozen peas that haven't thawed totally, but they're okay. And then I have here some radishes that I'm going to just slice. Let me grab a little small paring knife. You can dice them, you can shred them, you can do whatever you want with them. I adore radishes. So I'm going to just slice these up real quick like. I don't have any of them done because I wanted the red, then the white, then the red. But you can honestly put any kind of the vegetables that you like in your salads. You could use red pepper, green peppers, olives. Think about your salad, what you like, and use that. These are just things that I like. I've washed my radishes, and I like to leave the peeling on. Okay. I'm just going to put some of those. If you have a food processor with a slicing disc, it makes really quick work of this. I just want to show you that you don't have to have all those tools. I mean, a lot of people do have a food processor. I do. I use it all the time for different things. I like to cut them in half because it's a lot safer to cut a flat surface. Okay. So there's some radishes. Then I have a cucumber. Now, if you have an English cucumber, you don't have to peel it. I just have a regular cucumber that has that wax coating. So I want to make sure that I peel my cucumber. And this is one of those salads that you could make it ahead of time except for the dressing. Don't put the dressing on until you're ready to serve. Just peeling this cucumber. If you've got a garden cucumber, oh, even better. I love, 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 love garden fresh cucumbers. Love them. Cut it in half because it's a little easier. If you want to remove the seeds, go right ahead. I personally don't mind the seeds, but some people don't like them or they can't eat them. And I like to go ahead and dice my cucumber. I don't want to leave it in big rounds because it's just a little more difficult to eat that way. And just put your cucumber over top. Add as much or as little as you like. I love cucumber. So I'm going to add the whole thing. All right. Add that. And then, smells good. I love cucumbers. Add some just shredded cheddar cheese or Monterey Jack cheese or whatever kind of cheese you want to add. All right. Now, we're going to make the dressing. In this bowl, I have just some mayonnaise, some salt, some pepper, some garlic powder, some onion powder, and then I'm going to add, I like the coarse-grained mustard, but you can use Dijon or, you know, whatever you have that you like. Going to stir that all together. And I'm going to just put this right on top of my salad. All right. And just sort of spread it around. Are you as messy a cook as I am? I am the messiest cook. That's all right. Then I have some fresh dill that I'm going to sprinkle over top. You could mix this in with your dressing if you wanted. I think it looks prettier if you have that pretty green on top. This just adds an earthiness to it that's just can't be beat in my opinion. I love dill in all forms. All right. And there is an easy, quick, layered salad for you to cook any day of the week. Alrighty, now here is our finished meal. I just took a serving of the drumstick pudding out, and I topped it with a little bit of coconut because I really like coconut. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I like it, so that's my bowl. Then I've got our wonderful soup. Look at that beautiful, beautiful soup. It's delicious, it's healthy. Oh, so, so good for you. And I like to top mine with a little bit of extra parsley because I really like the flavor that parsley adds. So I like to add a little bit of parsley to mine. And our gorgeous layered salad. Now that is one of those things that you could, if you're needing to do ahead of time, go ahead and put all your components together, but don't put the dressing on it until just before you're ready to serve. Otherwise, it'll seep down and it'll wilt your lettuce and things like that. So you can layer it ahead of time, make the dressing ahead of time, but don't put the dressing on it till just before you're ready to serve. So here you go. Here are 3 very, very quick, very, very easy recipes for you to try any day of the week. And you know, they're very inexpensive. The chicken, you probably have most of those ingredients in your pantry and all of those things. It's not an expensive meal. So try these recipes. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time on Everyday Manna.